Most heart attacks after 60 do not look like they do in the movies. There is no dramatic collapse, no shouting, no flashing lights. They begin quietly, often when you are alone, and by the time help arrives, the damage may already be done. While American seniors rely on constant checkups, pills, and high-tech tests, elders in Nagano, Japan, live longer with something far simpler: calm breathing, grounded posture, and small daily rituals that train their hearts to stay steady under stress. They do not fear sudden collapse. They prepare for it. Doctors at Kyoto Medical University have found that seniors who practice these quiet routines are less likely to experience fatal heart episodes, even without expensive intervention. It is a truth rarely discussed in the West, where treatment often begins only after it is too late. Today we are revealing 8 simple but crucial tips to help you survive a heart attack when you are alone. Some may surprise you, especially tip number 2, which almost everyone does wrong. Before we begin, comment your age and country below. If you or someone you love has ever faced a heart scare, your story may help save another life. Number 8. Sit, don't stand. At first glance, sitting down may seem like the least important thing to do during a heart attack. But for seniors over 60, it can mean the difference between staying conscious or never waking up. Most people, when they feel chest pain, try to stand. They may walk to grab a phone or pace, thinking movement might help. But the truth is, moving during those first 10 seconds may quietly double the damage. In a 2020 cardiology review published by the Soul Heart Institute, researchers found something surprising. Seniors who sat down within the first 30 seconds of chest discomfort had up to 39% higher survival rates. Not because they received faster treatment, but because sitting reduced stress on the heart and gave the brain precious time to stay awake. The explanation is simple, but often missed. When you stand, your heart must work harder to push blood upward against gravity. But when you sit, especially with your head slightly forward, you allow circulation to stay calm, steady. This is not a theory. In Busan, South Korea, elders are taught a simple rule by community nurses. If your chest tightens, sit low, breathe slow, and stay where you are. No rushing, no walking. Just presence and posture. So what does this look like in real life? Picture this. You are in your kitchen. You feel a strange weight in your chest, maybe pressure, maybe a dull pain. Your instinct may be to move or reach for something. But instead, pause. Sit immediately. If you are near a chair, use it. If not, the floor is safer than falling. Then, lean slightly forward. Not slouched, not collapsed, but softly curved, like you are hugging a warm pillow. This position reduces strain on your arteries and helps prevent sudden drops in blood pressure. Now breathe. In slowly through the nose, out gently through the mouth. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Do this as if you are calming a frightened animal, because right now, that animal is your heart. Let your arms rest. Let your shoulders drop. Let your body feel heavy, like sand sinking into the floor. Still, quiet, grounded. These small movements, or lack of movement, are not weakness. They are survival wisdom passed down in silence by those who have lived through more than one scare. But remember, sitting alone is not enough. What you do next with your hands could save your brain. Because blood pressure is only half the battle, keeping oxygen flowing may be even more urgent. And that is where we are going next. Number 7. Unlock the cough trick. Coughing during a heart attack sounds like something out of a myth. Some people swear it saved their life. Others call it dangerous. So what is the truth? The idea behind the cough trick is simple. That by coughing hard and repeatedly, you can keep your heart beating during a cardiac event. But the truth is more complicated. According to the European Resuscitation Council, this method may help, but only in very specific cases. Mainly in hospitals, mainly under medical supervision, and mainly when the heart is in a rhythm disturbance called ventricular fibrillation, not during a full blockage or full heart attack. So why does this idea continue to spread? Because in very early moments, under very narrow conditions, it can work, but only if you are still conscious. Only if you are sitting down, and only if the heart has not yet stopped. When used correctly, coughing can act like a temporary internal CPR. It creates pressure inside the chest, which pushes blood toward the brain and keeps oxygen flowing for just a few extra seconds. Think of it like jump-starting a dying battery, not to drive across town, but just to keep the lights on for another minute. In Tokyo SEP's Asakusa district, emergency nurses teach elders something similar. Not the full cough CPR myth, but a gentle form of breath pressure coughing. Controlled. Measured. Never panicked. One elderly woman, age 84, described how she used this during a dizzy spell. She sat, took a slow breath in, then gave a single strong cough, followed by gentle ones. It helped clear the fog, and bought her enough time to signal her daughter nearby. But here is what matters most. Never rely solely on coughing. It is a bridge, not a rescue boat. If you feel chest pain or tightness, sit down. Stay calm. If you are conscious and feel faint, try a single sharp cough. Then breathe slowly. But do not keep coughing endlessly. It can tire the heart. It can worsen the rhythm. And in many cases it may do nothing at all. Your best defense is preparation, not panic. Because while coughing might help in rare situations, there is something much more reliable, much more powerful, and it is already in your pocket. What is it? A setting in your phone that could quietly alert your family, even when you cannot speak. And that is where we are going next. Number 6. Call without words. It may feel comforting to believe you will always be able to call for help, that in an emergency you will have the strength to dial, speak, and explain. But during a heart attack, that moment may vanish faster than you think. Your hands may shake, your voice may fade, and your brain may begin to fog just when you need clarity the most. In one real case, a 67-year-old woman in Ontario felt a strange heaviness in her chest. She reached for her phone, but she could not speak. Her fingers trembled. Her vision blurred, and yet she survived. Because weeks earlier, her daughter had helped her set up a hidden feature on her iPhone. It required no speech, no screen taps, just one long press on the side button. And her emergency contacts were alerted, instantly and silently. Her exact location was sent to her son. Help arrived within minutes. This is not new technology. It is already inside your phone, whether you use Android or iPhone. It is called Emergency SOS, and it may be the most overlooked life-saving tool you carry. In Japan, older adults often wear small panic buttons on their wrists or necklaces, not because they are afraid, but because they value self-protection. These devices can be expensive, but you do not need to buy anything, because with just 3 minutes of setup, your phone can do the same job. Here is how it works. Go to your phone settings. Type Emergency SOS in the search bar. On iPhones, enable the hold side button to call option. On Android, it may be called Emergency Sharing or SOS Messages. You can assign trusted contacts like a child, a neighbor, or your doctor. Once this is done, a simple gesture, a squeeze, a press, a swipe, can trigger an alert. Even if you cannot speak, even if you fall, you will not need to unlock your screen. You will not need to fumble with apps. Just touch, and it works. Think of it like a lifeline hidden in your pocket, always ready, always silent. It is easy to say, "I will do it later." But heart attacks do not wait. They do not ask permission. They arrive quietly, often when you are alone. So if there is one habit you take away from today, let it be this. Right after this video, take 3 minutes. Set it up. You may never need it, but if you do, it may be the very thing that saves your life. But what if you are completely alone, and no call can be made, no alert can be sent? Then you must rely on your own body and how well you have trained it to survive. And that is where we are going next. Number 5, oxygen first. Breathing may feel like the last thing you need to think about during a heart attack. It happens automatically, does it not? But what if I told you that how you breathe in those first few minutes could be the reason your brain survives or shuts down? When your heart weakens, the brain is the first to suffer. It needs oxygen every second. And without it, memory fades, awareness slips, and unconsciousness creeps in. Most people focus on calling for help, but few realize the first thing to protect is your breath. A team of cardiovascular researchers in Kyoto studied post-heart attack patients over a span of 4 years. What they discovered was quiet, but powerful. Patients who had trained in a slow nasal breathing pattern, often called box breathing, had 42% lower risk of stroke after cardiac events. Not because their hearts were stronger, but because their brains stayed awake longer. This technique is simple, but like most powerful things, it must be practiced in calm moments, not learned in panic. Here is how it works. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath gently for 4 seconds. Now exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. And then hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat. Think of your lungs as sponges soaking in life. Every inhale draws in strength. Every exhale releases panic. This pattern tells your nervous system, stay calm, stay awake, keep the brain alive. Doctors at Hokkaido Medical School call it the oxygen cushion, a way to buy the brain more time, to protect what matters, before blood pressure falls too low. In the fishing villages of Tottori, Japan, elders sit by the sea each morning, not to meditate, but to practice this breath. They say it prepares the body for storms inside and out. You do not need the ocean. You do not need a quiet garden. You only need your lungs and a moment of focus. Now imagine a fire inside your body. Not wild, not roaring, but burning silently. Every calm breath you take is like pouring water on that fire, not to stop it, but to slow its spread, to protect the brain for 6 more minutes. Sometimes that is all it takes. Practice this breath once a day, not as a ritual, but as a rehearsal, because in those critical moments you will not have time to think, only time to act, and the body remembers what it repeats. But breathing alone may not be enough. Because if the heart weakens more, you may need help from somewhere else in your body, a second pump hiding in plain sight. And that is where we are going next. Number 4, leg pumps. Your legs may seem like bystanders in a heart emergency. They are far from your chest, far from your pulse, and yet they may quietly hold the key to keeping your heart and brain alive. Most people think only the heart pumps blood, but the truth is, your legs are part of the system. They are not just for walking. They are your backup pump. Here is how it works. Your calf muscles, when they contract, squeeze the veins in your lower legs. That pressure pushes blood upward, back toward the heart, helping to maintain blood pressure when the heart struggles to do it alone. In a clinical study by the Taipei Medical University Hospital, doctors monitored patients during cardiac stress. They found that those, especially women over 65 who performed small controlled leg movements during the early signs of a heart episode, had higher survival rates and fewer complications. Why? Because their circulation did not collapse. Their legs kept helping. Their body worked as a team, not just a failing engine. In Okinawa, elders understand this. In morning gatherings, women gather in quiet community rooms. They sit, and without music or mirrors, they begin slow ankle rolls and toe flexes, not as exercise, but as cardiac insurance. One elder explained it simply. When the heart forgets to push, the legs remember. So, what can you do? If you ever feel chest tightness while you are sitting, try this. Flex your toes upward toward your shins. Then slowly press them downward like stepping on a brake. Now rotate your ankles in circles. Tighten your calf muscles as if you are pumping a gas pedal, but with slow, gentle control. This movement does not require standing. It does not risk a fall, but it keeps the blood moving, up, toward the lungs, toward the brain, toward life. Doctors call this peripheral pressure support. But in simple terms, it means your legs are helping hold the line. Even 30 seconds of this movement can stabilize pressure long enough for help to arrive, or for your heart rhythm to reset. It is not magic. It is mechanics. Like a hand crank on an old engine, your legs can help restart what your heart cannot finish. But what if you cannot move your legs at all? What if the event comes at night, in bed, or when your body shuts down faster than you can react? That is when the true preparation must begin, before the pain ever arrives, and that is where we are going next. Number 3. Magnesium. A mineral like magnesium may not sound urgent. It is not flashy. It is not talked about often, and yet, for seniors over 60, it could be the difference between a mild scare and a sudden collapse. What most people do not realize is this: magnesium is not just for bones. It is a natural shock absorber for the heart. It helps regulate rhythm. It keeps blood vessels relaxed. And when your heart is under stress, magnesium helps it stay calm instead of crashing. But here is the hidden danger. Most seniors are deficient, and they have no idea. In a major review by Harvard Medical School, adults over 60 with low magnesium levels had twice the risk of sudden cardiac death. Not over time. Not over decades. Sudden. Unexpected. Without warning. So why are magnesium levels so low? Because modern diets are stripped of natural sources. White bread, processed food, heavy meat consumption, they offer almost none. And medications for blood pressure or acid reflux can quietly deplete magnesium further. But in Japan, the story is different. In the coastal villages of Wakayama, older adults consume seaweed soup, tofu blocks, and dark leafy greens every day. Not as health food. As tradition. A typical breakfast may include miso broth with wakame, spinach boiled in sesame oil, and a small square of soft tofu. These foods are naturally rich in magnesium, helping the heart stay buffered from stress. Soft, supple, resilient. Doctors in Osaka refer to magnesium as the bodycep's internal cushion. It does not stop the fall, but it softens the landing. So what can you do? You do not need a new diet. You do not need to move to Japan. Start simple. Sprinkle pumpkin seeds into your breakfast. Add a handful of spinach to your soup or eggs. Consider a low-dose magnesium glycinate supplement, especially if you take medications that drain your stores. And remember this: your heart is like a car driving over rough roads. Without shock absorbers, every bump hits harder. Every pothole does more damage. But when magnesium is there, the road feels smoother. The ride is safer. If you are finding this helpful, like this video so others can discover it too. Because this knowledge, these quiet, gentle truths, can literally save lives. But minerals alone are not enough. Because what you do after a heart scare, even if you feel fine, may quietly decide what happens next. And that is what we are about to reveal. Number 2. Don't test, go back to bed. It may feel like the safest thing to do. You wake up in the early hours feeling tired, a little dizzy, maybe nauseous. You think it is just fatigue. So you lie back down. Close your eyes and try to sleep it off. But what if I told you that small decision to return to bed is quietly taking lives every single day? It is one of the most common heart attack responses in seniors, and one of the most dangerous. When your heart is struggling, lying flat can worsen blood flow. It causes blood to pool in the lower body, reduces pressure to the brain, and starves the heart of the oxygen it needs to recover. In simple terms, lying down is like pulling the plug on a flickering light. The heart dims, the brain slows. And for many, the story ends there, in silence. Cardiologist Dr. Emily Wu, in a clinical report published by the East Valley Cardiac Institute, shared a troubling insight. She wrote, "We see this mistake far too often. Seniors experience mild symptoms and choose rest over awareness. If you feel pressure, dizziness, or nausea, stay upright until help arrives. It may feel uncomfortable. It may feel unnatural, but it gives your body a fighting chance." In many parts of Shizuoka, Japan, community health workers teach elders this exact protocol. They call it remaining in watchfulness. Not lying, not standing, but sitting calmly, upright, eyes open. In one elderly care center, staff run weekly drills, not for earthquakes, but for chest pain. If a resident feels off, they are trained to sit forward, focus on breath, and remain alert until checked. You can do the same. If you feel any of the warning signs, a strange pressure in your chest, sudden fatigue, a wave of nausea, do not return to bed. Sit up. Stay awake. Keep your phone close. If you can, alert a neighbor, a loved one, or emergency services. Even if you feel better after a few minutes, stay upright. Because sometimes the first wave is not the last. In that moment, you are buying yourself time. Time for oxygen to reach your brain. Time for your rhythm to stabilize. Time for help to arrive. It may sound small, but so often, it is the small things that make the difference. The decision to lie down may feel like surrender, but the decision to sit, to stay aware, that is courage. That is survival. And now, we have arrived at number 1. The simplest habit of all. It takes less than 30 seconds a day. It comes from ancient Japanese ritual, and it can quietly train your heart to survive sudden shock. You may not expect it, but once you know it, you will never start your day the same way again. Number 1. Cold water face splash. A splash of cold water on the face may seem too simple to matter. It is something people do to wake up, to refresh, to clear their mind. But what if I told you that this ancient habit might be one of the fastest ways to calm your heart and train your body to survive sudden shock? This is not guesswork. It is neurology, and it all begins with something inside you called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve runs from your brainstem to your chest and abdomen. It controls your heart rate, your breath, and your body's ability to calm down under stress. When activated, the vagus nerve sends a signal that says, "You are safe, slow down, stay steady." But in the middle of a heart scare, that signal can go missing. Your body panics. Your chest tightens. Your rhythm spikes. And that is when small decisions can have life-altering consequences. In a groundbreaking study from Helsinki University Hospital, Finnish researchers exposed patients to brief cold water face immersion. They found that it immediately lowered heart rate variability spikes during episodes of cardiac stress. Not hours later, not through medication, but instantly, the cold water triggered the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve told the heart, "Hold steady, do not crash." This is not new. In Japan, Buddhist monks in the Iya Valley have used this technique for centuries. Each morning before sunrise, they kneel at stone basins. They scoop cold spring water into their hands and splash their faces again and again in silence. They are not doing it for alertness. They are doing it to train the nervous system, to stay calm under pressure, to practice resilience. Think of it like a daily fire drill for your heart. And here is the best part. You can do the same thing. In your own home. With no equipment, no pills, no cost. Here is how. Place a small bowl in your bathroom sink. Each morning, fill it with cold water. Not icy, just cool. Lean in and gently splash your face for 30 seconds. Close your eyes between each splash. Let the water surprise you. Let it speak to your nerves, to your pulse, to your breath. Over time, your body learns. It builds what doctors call parasympathetic tone. That means your vagus nerve becomes stronger, faster to respond, quieter under fire. It is like upgrading the brakes on an old car, not to drive faster, but to stop safely when the road turns. This habit takes less than a minute a day, but it may prepare your body for the hardest minute of your life. And now, we have reached the end of the countdown. But what if the truth is, none of these habits are really about emergencies? What if they are about something deeper? Let us reflect on that together. Aging is not the end of freedom. It is the beginning of understanding your body deeply, quietly, wisely. These 8 tips are not exercises. They are survival skills for those who wish to live independently, move confidently, and trust their body again. Do not wait for a heart attack to change how you live. Small daily choices, breathing, sitting, preparing, can mean everything. Which of these surprised you most? Share your age and story below. And if this helped you, like and subscribe for more tips like this.